Okay, so the duplicate sound is now muted. We now have everything on the screen. Sorry for the delay, folks, but we've had a storm again and puppers are hiding under the desk. And surprisingly enough, we had technical issues, but we persisted and we are here. So, hey, hi, I'm Dr. Kathryn Bingham, and I help high achieving women who've spent years serving everyone else rediscover what they want and create a life that they can't wait to wake up to. So, if you're in a season of transition, maybe it's empty nest, maybe it's burnout, maybe it's a health scare, it could have been anything that has prompted a trigger for you. It could even be just that quiet, niggling thought of, what is next? Then this here is the space for you. So let's talk about becoming and what's next. So today, our conversation introduces the series. And give me a second. I am working with a new rig that has, there we go, that has multiple monitors everywhere. And so I'm trying to find my cursor. So now that I've found that, I think we're good to go. So we're talking about this series covering your bases. And this is the introduction today. What we want to do is highlight the what, the why, and the how to pursue focus driven change that sticks. So let's pause a moment to let this sink in. It's not selfish to want something more, something different. As women, we have several trigger points in our life. And that is that we spend a lot of our time being focused on serving others, our career, our kids, supporting our family, handling caregiving when that time of our life comes to us. And we face transitions. It could be empty nest, it could be something like a cancer journey. Or some other big shift, and we can feel disconnected from ourselves. We want something with more meaning, but we don't always know what that looks like for us. And we often crave purpose, identity, freedom, but we're not always quite sure how to claim that and even claim it without guilt. And so, really, the one word that I often hear from my clients is searching. So, have any of these surfaced for you, right? So, have you had that sense of success, but not necessarily fulfillment? Have you outgrown roles or routines that worked previously and are not necessarily working in the way that you would very much like them to? Are you ready for something new? And maybe uncertain about what it is, or maybe you are certain, but you're not certain how to get there. And you really, really, really want to feel more excited, clearer, and purposeful again. So, the key is the first step in really accessing change seems often counterintuitive. And that is that we need to pause and reflect and do some deep thinking around what it is that we really want. And it may sound oversimplified, but we can imagine what we hope for. We can design a plan or a series of projects, and then we can do those actions that lead towards living out our purpose today and not someday, which leads us to this idea of covering your bases. So, yes, indeed, I use a baseball diamond because I am a lifelong Dodgers fan. So, it made a great metaphor for me. And we're not one dimensional in our lives. We are. Um, we are multifaceted. And so, if we think about creating change and wanting to create change that's powerful in our life, then we have to think about what those impacts are across all the different dimensions of how we live. And so I've created some icons that go with the four bases. And that is first the idea of our body, mind, and spirit. This is our foundation, all of the things that equip us to go out and live our life every day. And then the end is home base. And that is a lot around the environment that we create for ourselves and the choices we make around lifestyle. And then our pathways through second and third base are our personal and professional growth and development in the areas that we'd like to see change in. So let's look at those in a little bit more detail. So if we look about at covering our bases, the sessions that we are looking to have are going to offer inspiration, tools, and practical actions for addressing life and work holistically while you embrace that next chapter of life and work. So the idea is that for body, mind, and spirit, it could be overall health. It could be, are we getting the rest we need so that we can be rejuvenated and have the energy to focus? Are we taking in the right nutrition? Are we using and embracing fitness so that we are equipped to go through our day? Are we thinking through those things that allow us to pause and engage our mind and meditate? And those things change our heart rates. It helps us to focus better. There's so many elements of this component of body, mind, and spirit. When we look at the outcomes and we think about environment, I'm really excited. I'm going to tell you in just a minute about our next episode. It's going to be right in this space about nurturing spaces, but we want the spaces around us to be welcoming, inspiring, nurturing, to support us in a way that enables us to live our best life. We want to make choices that tie to freedom and making the opportunities and living the life that's not putting our dreams off for some time way out in the future, but living those dreams today and not someday. The next segment that we could look at, that pathway again of personal and professional growth, we can look at how do we make choices around our time? How are we choosing to learn and develop? What kinds of projects can we create that lead towards our own personal goals? In the professional side, we can be looking at how do we, if we're on a career track, what are those things that allow us to develop and grow on the career side? If we instead want to either directly go into entrepreneurship, perhaps we even already own a business that we want to scale and grow, or we want to learn about how to do a better job of creating a new product, a new audience. Those are all components of the professional side of our journey. So the idea is if you're just getting started in creating a life and work that you can't wait to wake up to, then I invite you to take one or more of these steps. So first of all, if you DM me the word next, then I will share this PDF with you. And it is filled with some reflective prompts that you can take, 15, 30 minutes, whatever works for you. You can use a journal, you can use a voice memo, you can sit and talk it through with a trusted friend, or get your computer out and type away, whatever is the method that works best for you. Think through the answers to the prompts, and they will give you some real insight as to where you are today and what are things that might help you take on a journey that moves you on to the next steps. The second thing is a what's next exercise. So if you go through the process of these reflection prompts, and again, just DM me and I will send you the PDF. The next steps, your what's next exercise allows you to go to that beginning point of imagining what's next and creating some definition around what that looks like for you, and how it might look in a year or two. What do you need to have in place for it to happen? And what kinds of obstacles are you facing? What would happen what would you have to overcome in order to achieve that what's next in your life and work? Then finally, you have the opportunity, feel free at any time to connect with me for virtual coffee. There's no cost or obligation. We can look at what's possible for you and just have a conversation that helps you, create greater focus around what it is you'd like to have happen next in your life. And so finally, I'm really glad we made it online. It took a while, but we got there. And if you have had any moment of hearing some of this introduction to the series that has resonated or stirred something if you're asking, what do I want now, then you are not alone. And I invite you to continue investing time in yourself. The next session that we're having is on Tuesday, the 17th at 1:00 in the afternoon, Eastern time. And our guest will be Chris Alsam. We'll be talking about making space, both literally through decluttering or downsizing, so that we create environments that inspire and support us, and then mentally to help us generate clarity of thought. So remember that you deserve your next chapter, and I invite you to go forth and do great things. Thanks so much for joining today, and I hope to see you again on the next Covering Your Bases.